Hey Phil, first off, big fan of the show. Both channels, this and the Vlogity, and like totally awesome. This is a response to your question of the day regarding illegal immigration and the 14th Amendment. So I just wanted to get that out there. Um, I am opposed to repealing the Fourth Amendment. One, because I think there are a lot of very complex issues that go into that, and this seems like a very reactionary kind of knee-jerk response to the immigration problem. Also, I think it misses the mark, and there are better ways to address this issue. I'm going to try to go kind of point by point on this one. First off, like you said, you talked about in the video how this is the clause that this is the amendment rather that allows the chosen of illegal immigrants to be citizens. But it's more than that. This is the clause that we're talking about the first section of the 14th Amendment, the citizenship clause, which defines what a citizen is for the United States of America. So it's what makes you a citizen and me a citizen and our kids citizens. So if we repeal that, then we have to define what makes a citizen in the United States. How does a person become a citizen? Is it they have to take a test? They have to live here for a certain amount of time? They have to be part of the military, which are a common system throughout the world. So, I mean, if everyone's like, "Oh, repeal it," but if they have to serve in the military, they might not feel the same way. Um, then you have to define it. In theory, you're going to end up with a good chunk of population that maybe because they're lazy or are ill-informed or for whatever reason are no longer citizens. So what rights do non-citizens have versus citizens? What if you are a natural-born non-citizen? Then what? Ultimately, then also, how will this affect our elections? If you have a good chunk of the population that are citizens or non-citizens, then not represented electorally, what does that mean for us as a country? Another thing that isn't really talked about are the other clauses that go into that first section of the 14th Amendment. One is the due process clause, which the Fifth Amendment covers due process for the federal government. Pretty much, government can't take anything, life, liberty, or property or anything like that from you without due process. The 14th says that states also can't do that. So you think about that, if you take that away, then when California has a budget crisis, they can say, "Hey, give me your shit." As unlikely as it sounds, being America has a history of doing some pretty unlikely shit. I'm not comfortable with that. And the last clause, and again a pretty heavyweight one, is the Equal Protection Clause. That's pretty much what sets up our whole separate but equal is not okay stance in the United States. So repealing the 14th Amendment means no equal protection, which means black people, you go there, white people, you go there, Mexicans, we don't care where you go, just you don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell out of here. I don't know if we're okay with that. As far as immigration as a whole, I think it is a really complex issue, but I think we're going about it the wrong way and things are being misrepresented. Uh, a lot of, especially Republican talking points have been about how they're taking jobs. Immigrants are taking jobs, taking American jobs. We need these jobs in this tough economy. But when you think about it, are those jobs that you really want? Do you really want to work a 12-hour day for $2 a day uh, in the hot sun with no insurance? I don't think so. And let's say take every job that is currently done by an illegal immigrant. Put an American worker there making the minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, plus pay for overtime, and then see what happens to our economy. See how much the price of any food product you have or any a hotel that you stay in that has a service staff or those types of jobs that you see a lot of immigrant workers doing. Our economy is enabled by cheap exploitable labor, period. Be it outsourced labor that keeps our electronics and fun gadgets cheap, or illegal immigrant labor that keeps our foods and services cheap. So they're not really the problem there. Also, in terms of what they actually, while some of them maybe do game the system, they also spend money here. This is where they buy their goods. This is where they shop. So I'm not quite sure how that balances out. Overall, though, I think the approach should be more targeted towards employers and companies. When you think about it, immigrants come here for jobs, they come here for money. So instead of spending, you know, taxpayer resources tracking down one family of illegal immigrants, why don't you spend those resources tracking down a company that's employing 50 or 500 immigrants and work that way? Penalize the companies so that they start employing American workers and don't engage in these practices anymore. If there's no jobs here for them, and in theory, they won't